How's it going, everyone? It's Javi from Weather Sponge 1000 here. Today is August 17, 2018, and thank you for watching it, as today we're going to look at the Atlantic, obviously, for Tropical Storm Ernesto. Before it was Subtropical Storm Ernesto, and originally I thought that this was going to be no more than Subtropical Storm. Now it eventually evolved Extratropical, but the most odd thing was that it actually turned fully tropical. It took out the subtropical out of its name, and now it's a 100%, well, not 100%, but nearly a fully tropical storm. As we're going to look at the satellite for this, and you could see it definitely does have some convection evidence with this, as you could see the higher cloud tops. And this satellite represents the more orange, more black, more even pink it is, that represents that the storm has really cool cloud tops, and when cloud tops are really cool, it's more likely that the cloud tops are all the way high up in the atmosphere, showing evidence of stronger thunderstorms within this storm, as you could start to see it here. But it has that very comma shaped look. I wouldn't say that it's 100% tropical either, but it did get a little bit more tropical characteristics, especially since the temperatures are much higher than average during this year. So I'm gonna try to point, but you could it doesn't really show the northern Atlantic, but you could just see that small patch that shows that the water temperatures are well above average for the year, and that made Tropical Storm Ernesto turned more tropical and basically took the subtropical out of its name. And it's expected to evolve extratropical eventually, as it should, since it's basically barely organized, and it's basically the only reason why it's alive is due to the westerlies that are kind of keeping it alive, bringing with the westerly winds almost giving the storm a little bit more momentum and more wind power to it. But if it wasn't for that, then this storm definitely would have died a long time ago. And there's at least some instability in the storm that is entrained within the storm, but if it wasn't for that, this storm would die. So I'm gonna show a projected path of this to show where. Okay, so Tropical Storm Ernesto is actually expected to hit Ireland coming into tomorrow, as this storm is still a couple hundred miles away from Ireland. But the thing is that this storm is moving extremely fast with the westerlies, and it's just getting a lot of momentum from the westerlies and that instability between that warm Bermuda high and the cooler Arctic air that's basically going to pull this thing straight towards Ireland in a very fast pace. And both the European and the GFS are agreeing upon the track, bringing it straight towards Ireland by Saturday. And I don't expect it to strengthen much, but what you could expect in Ireland and even the United Kingdom is localized heavy rain and flooding, some gusty winds at times, gusting to about 40-50 miles per hour in some areas, and it should be a slight flood threat, but not really much to do much of anything to you guys. So just keep that in mind, and a slight wave threat as well as Ernesto approaches the shore of Ireland and the United Kingdom. But that's about it with Ernesto. Next, let's move on to the potentially bigger threat, but even that threat has slightly gone down since I did a report for you guys about 36 hours ago. It is Tropical Storm Lane, which is moving at about 16 miles per hour to the west. I mean Hurricane Lane, I meant to say, because last time I did a report, I was so used to saying Tropical Storm Lane, but it strengthened into a hurricane as expected. And the maximum sustained winds now, as of the 2 o'clock advisory for Pacific time, is 110 miles per hour. So it's basically a borderline major hurricane, and its central millibar pressure is at 973, which is pretty low for a Category 2 hurricane. And for the track of this, it's expected to strengthen into a major hurricane before it starts weakening as it goes just south of Hawaii, as you can see here. It's expected to strengthen into a Category 4 Saturday morning and then gradually weaken, and I'll show you why it's expected to gradually weaken as we move into the latter part of the weekend. And you can see just ahead of it is we see some dry air just south of this high pressure that's centered north and almost right on top of Hawaii right now, and it's expected to absorb some of this dry air. Although the water temperatures are above 80 degrees, even in portions of Hawaii, there's still just going to be dry air that's going to hinder its development a little bit, and it should gradually weaken as it starts to, after it starts strengthening to possibly a Category 3 or 4 hurricane as we move on to Saturday and early Sunday morning. But it should get entrained into this dry air, and so far, based on the computer model forecasts, we're seeing both very similar tracks. That's going to take a similar track to Hurricane Hector, which occurred last week. That it's just going to stay to the south of Hawaii, but keep in mind is that the waves still should be big. There still should be big surf behind this storm, and keep in mind for surfers in Hawaii, it might be a good surfing weekend or weekday for you guys, since it's gonna move very slowly. The closest it's gonna be in Hawaii is about Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, like basically the middle of next week. So keep that in mind. It's gonna move very slowly, but it's gonna weaken very slowly. So by the time it reaches Hawaii, it's expected to be about a Category 1 hurricane, about 90-80 miles per hour. So it won't be that strong, but still it should bring those waves up. And as for GFS, it's bringing the storm a little bit more north than the European, while the European is bringing it just far south enough where you won't even experience the outer bands and possibly the outer cloud bands that are associated with this storm, or at least the outer, at least the outflow of the storm. That's how far south the European is taking it, but still it should bring big waves and something for Hawaii to watch. So is there a possibility that this could move slightly more north? It seems unlikely at this point, since we still have this persistent area of high pressure that's just gonna dominate the northern Pacific, and it's gonna be really tough for that high pressure to move just far enough where the hurricane lane could just have its lane towards Hawaii, have an easier way to Hawaii. It seems like this high pressure is just gonna keep it to the south, and both models are agreeing with that. And when these two computer models both agree it's gonna stay south, and based off of the climates, the usual climate that happens in Hawaii, where hurricanes would usually avoid the island just to the south, it seems likely that it's gonna take the southward track. And I don't think it's gonna take this. I think it's very unlikely, nearly impossible, that this is gonna make a direct impact to Hawaii at this point. Maybe at worst, maybe the outer bands will affect Hawaii, especially the southern island of Hawaii. But but even that possibility seems unlikely at this point. So we just have this high pressure dominating, and that's gonna keep Hawaii safe from hurricane lane. And I guess that's. And as for other things, for this hurricane season, we do have an area of disturbance that's just to the east of Lane. We have this tropical disturbance, 0% chance of developing over the next 2 days, but we have a 20% chance, which is still low, through the next 5 days, as it's also going to get entrained into some dry air that's just to the north of it, and that should weaken it. And it's just very disorganized if you look at the satellite imagery like I'm gonna show now. It's just right here, very disorganized, not much to it. But anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. New videos every day, so make sure to tune in, and I hope you guys have a great day.